is the youngest champion in UFC history!
Tom Aspinall is the most dangerous heavyweight on the planet right now. He doesn't just win fights, he obliterates his opponents in seconds. He holds the interim title, he has the youth, the speed, and the entire UFC world backing him up. But despite all of this, Jon Jones looked straight into the camera and said, no. He flat out refused to unify the belts. The internet went crazy. Fans are calling him a duck. Critics are saying the GOAT is terrified of a younger lion and running away to protect his record. It looks like the ultimate act of fear, right? Well, that's exactly what they want you to think. But what if the truth is far deeper than a simple fight? What if Jon Jones isn't running away at all, but playing a masterclass game that no one else can see? To understand why Jon Jones is dodging this fight, you have to understand who Tom Aspinall is. In the heavyweight division, power is common. But power combined with the speed of a lightweight? That's a freak of nature. And that is Tom Aspinall. He didn't just win the interim title, he destroyed everyone in his path. Sergey Pavlovich? Knocked out in 69 seconds. Curtis Blades? Finished in a minute. Aspinall's average fight time in the UFC is the shortest in history. He finishes fights before the crowd even settles into their seats. For the first time in a decade, there is a challenger who doesn't just want to fight Jon Jones, he is stylistically built to beat Jon Jones. He has the wrestling defense, the elite boxing, and the youth. And Jon Jones knows it. So, what is the GOAT's response to this monster? Excuses. Jones claims that Tom Aspinall hasn't proven himself enough. He says fighting Aspinall does nothing for his legacy. Instead, Jones started campaigning for a fight with light heavyweight champion Alex Pereira. Think about that for a second. Jones is refusing to fight the actual #1 contender in his own weight class, but is begging to fight a guy who moved up from middleweight. The US fan base immediately saw through the smoke. Pereira is a legendary striker, but his wrestling defense is a massive question mark. For Jon Jones, Pereira is a massive payday with low risk. Tom Aspinall? That is high risk and a guaranteed dogfight. Jon Jones is playing chess with his record, but fans feel like they are being cheated. But let's stop and think for a second. Is a man who has ruled the UFC for 15 years, a man who stepped into the cage with monsters like Daniel Cormier, Alexander Gustafsson, and Francis Ngannou, really scared of anyone? The short answer is, absolutely not. You don't become the greatest of all time by having fear in your heart. What Jon Jones is doing right now isn't ducking, it's ultimate career chess. At 38 years old, Jones is fighting against his own body. He recently suffered a career-threatening pectoral tear that required major surgery. At this stage of his life, after decades of brutal wars inside the octagon, his body simply cannot recover like a 25-year-old's. He isn't mentally or physically prepared to risk a permanent, career-ending injury for a young challenger who has everything to gain, while Jones has everything to lose. The UFC crown is heavy, and Jon Jones has carried it longer than anyone else in history. Tom Aspinall may be the future, but Jon Jones is the undisputed history. He isn't running from a fight. He is simply protecting the pristine legacy he bled for, ensuring that when he finally walks away from the sport, he leaves on his own terms, as the undefeated king. But this leaves the UFC in a fascinating dilemma. Will Dana White convince the GOAT to give us one final, ultimate showdown to settle the debate forever? Or have we already seen the final chapter of Jon Jones's mythical career? What do you think? Is Jones being smart by preserving his body and legacy? Or does he owe the world one last dance with Aspinall? Let me know in the comments below, hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you in the next breakdown.